So I wanted to show you some of the videos that I take as I'm driving through these little small Midwest and East Coast towns. You can see the patriotic flags. I mean, all the American flags, patriotism, just everywhere. And in a lot of towns in the Midwest and on the East Coast, they've got these little banners on the phone poles, as you see to the right there. And they've got all their hometown heroes, people that have served in the military, both past and current, on these little banners. It's really, really a neat thing to see. And there's a lot of towns that have these. And being I'm from the West Coast, where, well, my opinion is the West Coast, it has its issues about allowing flags to fly and patriotism in general. But you get away from the West Coast, and all of a sudden, you really start to see America is really patriotic. And that feels really good. So I'm driving through small towns like this, and I'm thinking, do I belong in here? Because this big truck feels a little squishy. And so I passed that officer there in this really small town, and he didn't seem to have a problem. So usually my GPS will tell me if I don't belong there. So, but anyway, it's just a beautiful drive, and I wanted to share this with you. So here we're coming into Lancaster. I thought this was kind of neat. And this is Pennsylvania. And then we drive through this little tunnel of trees. I just thought this was exceptional. And this makes the job really fun. Except for the big bug down or something like that.
Well, let's see if I can fit through here. Take a little walk through the woods, why not?
Alright, so we picked up and dropped that load.
It says it's cut off road
And
around,
here we're
so
way up in the country again in West Virginia. And the chicken house that I'm supposed to pick up all these eggs at, had their gate closed as I went by. Well, once you go by it, you can't back up on these little country roads, and there's nowhere to turn around. So I looked on Google Maps, and about 2 miles up the road, there was this looping drive that you see me on now that looped all the way back around. So essentially it allowed me to make a U-turn. But it's a pretty small little town or neighborhood. So I'm shooting through here, hoping that Google Maps is accurate. I'll come around the corner here and not take out this guy's mailbox. I'm pretty much side to side here. It's fun. I actually love shoving this big truck down tight little areas. It's a total blast, actually. And nothing makes me nervous except for other people. That's the variable I can't guarantee is not going to be a problem. As you'll see, after we pick up the eggs, there's a detour because the highway's being repaved. So it has me running roads like this all the way to another highway for about an hour. And it's one lane action. I'm having to stop and let cars pass as I make turns. Alright, so here we're back on the road. I'm getting turned around, and the chicken house is up here. And this is kind of interesting because, well, actually, let me back up. First of all, I called them twice, and they knew I'd driven past. And I pull in, and the gate is still not open. I'm thinking, why is this gate not open? Now I'm sitting in the road. I got to block everything. I'm thinking, all right, they had their chance, so I'm going to open the damn gate. So I'm like, hey, you guys are screwing around. I got to get this truck off the road. So I'm like, I'm just going to open your gate, as I normally do, just take action, get it handled. What I didn't know, that was kind of interesting, is all the bird farms
So here's something new.
don't allow general access because of the bird flu concern. And I guess there's been a big problem with that recently. So as I pull in, this guy in this little gator over here is going to decontaminate and spray all my tires all the way around, and he's busy showing me where to back up after he sprays my tires. So this is kind of interesting. So also when you walk into the warehouse, there's a big pan of water you step in. It decontaminates your shoes. And so I don't know about you guys, but I've never seen any of this stuff before. So it's pretty interesting when you're seeing from the other side of the grocery store how all this comes together. And what I'm picking up here is I'm picking up $23,400 dozen eggs, or 280,800 eggs. And that's the heaviest load I've ever had. I scaled out at 79,900 pounds. So basically, if I bought 2 more cases of water, I'd be almost over my legal limit. So he sprays off my tires. He actually crawls under. He asks me if I set my brake. He didn't hear me do it. I did already. Because he's going to crawl underneath there. I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'm not going anywhere. So he crawls under there and shoots out the other side, sprays the other side, and then we're going to pull forward. And this is where you got to line yourself up right out of the gate. Otherwise, you're going to have just a colossal problem. Both getting in and out of here without hitting that tree, as you saw. And also, when I go to pull up, I'll show you the... I'm getting better at it. I've been doing this 5 months, 60,000 miles, so I'm pretty proficient at backing this up. And my goal is, a little OCD going on in me, I want to hit it in one shot. I don't want to make a correction. And I don't know why I did it, but I made a correction, and I didn't have to, as you'll see in a minute. So the key here is, if they want me to pull into my left there and back down by that other trailer, well, okay, if I'm going to make a 90 degree, you got to get up against this building as tight as possible, your trailer tires, and then angle it back out so you have as much approach angle as possible. So here's my lineup, and as I get it lined up, I'm basically, when I back up, if you're looking down on top of what I'm doing from an aerial perspective, you see I'm basically going to make a question mark as I back up. So with the swing of the tractor, and so I got to keep that trailer up against the building so it makes it around the corner as fast as it can, without me encroaching any tighter onto the cars that are parked to my right as I'm creating that curve in the question mark, so to speak. And provided nobody gets in my way. So this was pretty fun. This was not a very difficult yard to maneuver in, because there was some space. And I don't know why I did this. I could still see down the side there, but I still straightened up anyway. I could have gotten that in one shot. But anyway, they load me and they say, oh yeah, they're 2,000 pounds each pallet. And I'm like, wait a minute, times 26. That's way over 52,000 pounds. I can't take that much weight. I can take 44,000 and be at 80,000 total. So we figured out that it was actually 1,400. They didn't know what they were talking about. So then here's the beginning of this little teeny bridge here. So I'm gonna squeeze Big Girl down the road here, and this was fun. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this road is not meant for this truck. Look at these turns. Woo! Squishy.
So with every turn I make here on this detour, the road gets smaller. And that's okay, it keeps it interesting. So we're going to shoot down this road here, and there's a couple turns up here that I have to wait for the other cars to go by. So you can see I got to take the oncoming lane to get my trailer around that guardrail. And here we go. And the guy's like, no, you go. I'm like, no, that's not going to work. You need to go first. So he shoots by and I go around the corner. And if you look in my hood mirror on the left there, you'll see my trailer takes all the way to the shoulder on the other side to get around that corner. And then, as if that road wasn't small enough, we had paint. Now we turn onto a road that's even smaller, but no paint. So I'm like, oh, where's this going to terminate at?
Well, this just keeps getting weirder, like I'm driving down someone's driveway, but this is where the truck GPS says to go. So, okie dokie.
So I look down at my GPS to see what's in the next turn. And just for a split second, I look up and this guy's right there. I'm like, whoa. I'm sure he was like, oh crap.
I was like, uh-oh.
This giant truck right up his nose. So anyway, we roll down here about another mile and then it goes back to the main highway and we drop our trailer. Okay, this is going to work out great. So I'm a day early for my pickup. They said, oh, you can drop your trailer, we'll fill it, and then just call us tomorrow about noon, it'll be done, and you can pick it back up. I said, hey, I just drove by a barbecue place across from the pilot over there. Is that good? She's like, oh, yeah. So I was like, okay, we're going there. We're going to drop the trailer right now. Let's go get some barbecue. You always want to make sure your landing gear doesn't fail after you pull out from under it.
After 700 feet, turn left onto Chudova Parkway. After 600 feet, turn left onto Chudova Parkway.
Isn't that a beautiful field? Look at that.
After a quarter of a mile, turn left.
Alright, so we're parked at the Pilot, and look what is across the street. That is a barbecue place in Virginia, so it's got to be good. So we're gonna not get hit on this busy street and get over there, and we'll be there in a minute. Oh yeah, this place looks great. So this ended up being barbecue chicken, ribs underneath the chicken, brisket, pulled pork, and two sides, buttered corn, mac and cheese, sweet tea, and then of course I ordered their bread pudding, which is homemade, and we had that later. So after that huge pile of food, I installed my Bluetooth printer up in the truck so I can print all my bill of ladings and sheeting for billing. And you can see I got it tucked up there against the wall behind the TV, so it fits beautifully. Now I just hit print at any point in time and it'll kick the document right out. I don't need to go into a truck stop to do that. Perfect. Oh, good morning, and it's the next day. We're gonna go over here and try and get some breakfast, but one thing I see different from last night to this morning is that parking lot's full. So let's see what we got. Oh yeah. Sometimes you just hit the jackpot. Let's get in here. So if you look at number 3 on the specials menu, it's 2 eggs, hand breaded catfish with 2 sides for $12. I mean, that's really affordable. And then you see Fire and EMS sitting there at the table of 6 to my left, and you know they eat in the good places in town. They were so nice. I brought my own coffee, and when I paid the bill, she's like, "Do you want to top off on your coffee?" I'm like, "Well, I brought this." She's like, "Oh, that's fine, no problem." Yep, omelet, cheese omelet with grits and pancakes, and I brought my own coffee. The bill was $7. So yeah, that's awesome. So I thought we'd wrap up the video with a pretty shot from the sun the other day. So thanks for watching.